so great. We worship you, Lord, King of kings and Lord of lords. Oh, so great you are, doing marvelous things. Everything about you
is grace indeed, right here inside HiRadio, and it's the Breakpoint. We are delving into today's topic pretty shortly. This show is probably brought to you by Hi-Mart Company Limited and Hi-Mart Pharmacy. You can join in the feed by calling us on +233 302 906 336, +233 302 906 332, or you can WhatsApp us on +233 2400 34362. It's the Breakpoint now. We are delving into decision-making skill, the priority test, decision-making skill 3, priority test. Some decisions in life require more efforts to figure out, and you've done through the obvious test, the wisdom test, but you still need more evidence that you are making the best decision. This happens when, 1, the Bible doesn't specifically address the decisions or the decision that's before us or before you. You have many options to choose from. Your best options are both attractive to you. The people you respect have differing opinions on how you should decide. When this occurs, there are simple and practical steps you can take. Step 1. Write out your decision in a positive way. Describe the decision before you in terms of what you will do if you say yes to this decision. For instance, I'm thinking about buying a home and looking for a couple of roommates. This is better than I need to get out of my parents' home because they are driving me crazy. Because it encourages you to think about momentum in your life. You want to leave no room for negative thinking. Step 2. Make a pro list. Create 2 columns on a sheet. 2 columns on a sheet of paper. One side, write down the reason why you ought to take this course of action. On the other side, write down the reason why this course of action is not a good idea. Step 3. Prioritize the reasons in both columns. Prioritize the reasons in both columns. Prioritize the reasons you have listed. As you prioritize your thinking, wise decisions begin to make themselves known. A method that we have found helpful for certain priorities is the ABC system. To use this system, you assign an A to a vital reason you identify on your list. The supportive reasons get a B, and you mark with a C the reasons you came up with, because you are creative and can come up with ideas that don't really affect the decision. Some people prefer to rank the reasons on their list in order of importance, kind of like 1, 2, 3, and so on. Choose the method you are most comfortable with. For the rest of our discussions, we will assume you are using ABC system. Step 4. Compare the high priority reason from both lists. Evaluate the A reasons for saying yes with the A reason for choosing no. If it's a tie, then move to the B reason to see if the decision becomes clearer. Don't be fooled by quantity. It's quite possible that one list will have more reasons than the other, but quantity is no substitute for quality, and decisions such as this require high quality conclusion. The list with the most reasons might be the best choice, but it might not. The way to build clarity is to deliberately prioritize the evidence and discipline yourself to focus on the A reason. I cannot put it this way. It's your turn. What decision are you currently faced with that needs the priority test? I ask you this. What decision are you currently faced with that needs the priority test? Describe the decision in a positive terms in the space below. Then, on a separate sheet of paper, work through the priority test.
Hello, this is your girl Justina, and keep on listening to HiRadio. Stay blessed.
Decision making skill. We are moving to step 4. The brainstorm test. The vast majority of decisions in your life can be figured out using the obvious test, the wisdom test, and the priority test. Every once in a while, though, you will encounter decisions or choices that are truly different than decisions you have encountered in the past. You are not sure how to get started because you are into a new territory with new implications. You have little life experience to draw on and on-track record to look back on. In order to tackle these decisions, you need to open yourself up to a new possibilities. This skill is pretty, dicey. So you don't want to rely on it very often, but there are times when it is necessary to answer the questions. Have I spent time considering every possible solution I can imagine? To answer this question requires us to exercise our creativity. The creativity to identify and explore brand new possibilities resides in all of us because we are made in the image of a creative God. We make emphasis on these in Genesis 1 to 27. To release this creativity, we need to open up our thinking. Most of us have developed either discipline or hesitancy in our thinking. We discipline our thinking so we keep focus on the important responsibilities of life. We hesitate in our thinking because of past mistakes or fear of letting unhealthy desires take over. We need to get beyond these barriers when truly new solutions are necessary. Let's do this. Here are some steps to help unleash these creativities. Step 1. Brainstorm a solution list. Write down every possible solution you can imagine. Include ideas that seem ridiculous, absurd, or impossible. It is vital at this point that you do not analyze any of these ideas. The brainstorming process is designed to break through the emotional, intellectual, and experimental barriers you have developed. If you analyze or evaluate ideas during the brainstorming process, you will eliminate ideas that could lead to new solutions. The goal here is to get as many ideas on paper as you possibly can in hopes that a new possibility surfaces. If you are having difficulties making a large enough list, ask trusted friends to add their ideas. Do not rush this step. You may even want to take breaks and come back to your list a number of times in order to consider the greatest number of ideas. Once the brainstorm list is complete, set aside for a time. This break can last from a few minutes to a few days. Note this: the goal of this break is to shift from a brainstorming mentality to an elevation mentality. Step 2. Eliminate the ridiculous ideas. Cross out any ideas that are truly ridiculous. Be careful you don't eliminate ideas that feel ridiculous to you but are actually good possibilities. Again, you may want to ask friends to help you figure this out. You allow these ideas to appear on your list to expand your creativity. Now it's time to eliminate them so they don't create clutter as you move forward. Step 3. Eliminate ideas you are clearly not ready to consider. Some ideas on your list may sound possible, but you know in your heart you would never follow through with them. These ideas may not match your personality or your maturity level. Be careful that you do not eliminate these simple based on your emotional reactions to them. You know, real change is hard and makes you uncomfortable. So, you want to keep challenging ideas on your list. You want to give yourself the freedom, however, to get rid of ideas that are confident would make you miserable. For instance, if you are highly creative and love stuff, an assembly line job is not a good idea for you. You may be in a skill required for this job, but it is guaranteed that you eventually grow bored. Likewise, if you are a task-oriented person with gains great satisfaction from assisting others. Being in charge of a company is probably not a good idea, a good career goal. You may have the insight and drive to succeed for a short period of time in an executive position, but it is unlikely you will enjoy it long term. The ideas you want to eliminate in this step are those you know in your heart you will never focus on well enough to succeed. You don't want to commit yourself to a course of failure. It's probably wise to have someone you trust help you work through this step so that you don't get rid of ideas you may be afraid of but would likely succeed at if you pursued them. Your trusted friends often have sharper insight into a new possibility for you. Step 4. Walk the best ideas from your brainstorm list through the priority test. Once you have limited your brainstorm list, you will be left with one more new courses of action. You now need to elevate these new ideas. Since you will do this much work only for a life-changing decision, you want to give this process the focus and time it deserves. If you have more than 2 ideas to consider, work the process until you have only 2 ideas remaining. Then, instead of a pro list, create an idea list, 1 or 2 list. List the reason for each side. Prioritize the reasons and focus your elevation on the high priority reasons.
Highly spiritual.
Hey brother, Charlie, what's up?
Charlie, wow, you said Gary.
Literally, I come in here today this morning, boy, the chop Gary like that.
I do you know say this food nothing there. If you sugars have unless I go on there I go.
But this time the chop Gary then sugar all like that.
So we don't know where we go get some like do the buy or
brother, there will be lack. You know year of how much?
I know so there.
Supermarket can sell a red by zero. Hey, topless in into hey, no fire call na kosho de akoso. Charlie as more na years no. Me pon carbos, me pamoni. There is a day. Brother na so call it is a day akoda. The shade young kosho na. Charlie supermarket no jai. Hey, it's so too much. Charlie.
Why say you no go let me make a chop my Gary like that?
Brother, I
make a walk
brother.
Far from here.
No. Just a distance. Right? You do 5 minutes in process here. I won't come there. Charlie, won't come.
Charlie, fast.
Join us each and every Monday, Fridays, and Saturdays for the news update, entertainment, gospel news, and all the sports making headways in and around the world. And join us on every Saturdays for the weekly review with me, A.O.B, man like Tella, and man like Theo. It's happening everywhere, but it's happening fresher and better on HiRadio. HiRadio is your time to shine.
Hi, my name is Altia. I come from Jamaica. When I want to listen to good music, I just tune in to HiRadio. HiRadio, it's your time to shine. Boo!
Hi, this is Prophet Albert Esihini Ejakwa, Kofedia Assemblies of God. I always listen to HiRadio. HiRadio, it's your time to shine.
HiRadio,
You got me shining like star in the sky. I love this radio. You got me feeling like I'm in paradise.
With her brand new album, You Are My Passion, featuring hit single Jesus Is Here.
Our friend goes to because of your union state HiRadio anonymity.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
I am free. Praise the Lord. Praise
Jesus be lifted higher.
oh, Jesus. Be lifted higher above all others.
All hail the King.
Welcome back from this break. Still on Breakpoint. We are still delving into the 10 most decisions everyone needs to make. Welcome back from the break. Still on HiRadio. It's your time to shine. Right here on Breakpoint. Still on today's topic. You know, a friend by name Ben, who grew up in a loving, God-fearing home with a strange twist. When he was a teenager, his father told his wife and kids that he loved them, but God had led him to begin a new relationship. His father admitted that most people would not understand, but he claimed he had denied it long enough. It was traumatic to see that, to say the least. You know, questions without answers flooded Ben's mind. The decision-making palette of his life grew cluttered and confused. How could his father, a man who claimed to be godly, do something so ungodly and build on his wife and kids? Ben was affected deeply by his father's unhealthy choices. Ben spent many years believing that he was separated from God and unable to ever be worthy of salvation. God is faithful, however, and through a series of events, Ben became convinced that God loved him and had a plan for his life. But he still had lots of questions about how to create a healthy plan and path for his future. The one thing he knew is that he needed to leave his hometown. There were too many reminders of painful disappointment for him ever to thrive there. Where he should go, however, was a mystery. He didn't realize that at that time but he informally followed a logic progression for making the decision about where to live. His first step was obviously test. I know I need to move. It is obvious where I should go. It is obvious where I should go. His first question that came in mind was it. The answer was no. I can live anywhere. God had taught me, Ben, that he could find a home and great friends anywhere through involvement with a group of international Christian singles. All of these young men and women from other nations, but they had formed relationships with one another that were so good as any loving brothers and sisters. Then came the wisdom test. Are all the people I trust telling me to move to the same place? Is there a place to move that looks better to me than other places? Is there any opportunity before me that appears to be a God-given appointment? Again, the answers were all no, leaving Ben with the need to be more deliberate about the decision. As he was considering this decision, he read these words in the Bible. The Lord had said to Abraham, leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you. You can read this in Genesis 12 verse 1. This verse struck in his mind, so he began praying. Lord, is that what I'm supposed to do? He couldn't think of a reason not to at least consider this. So he fasted and prayed about it. He wrote out, should I pack what I own into my car, leave my hometown, and move to the place that God points out to me? He came up with the following reasons for saying yes to this opportunity. And 1, the best chance to live an excellent life is away from my home. The second is, I am single. The third is, I believe God is leading me this way. The fourth, I have a car. Fifth, I have been trained to make friends. Sixth, my faith is strong. He recognized the following reasons for saying no to these opportunities. I will be without a job when I arrive wherever I'm going. Second, other people will think I'm crazy. Third, it could be hard to find work. 4, I may not know anyone wherever it is that I'm going. As he thought through the issues, he concluded that the A priorities from the yes side were, my best chance to live an excellent life is away from my hometown. The second is, I believe God is leading me this way. The only A priority from the no side was, I will be without a job when I arrive wherever I go. The fact that he was single minimized this for Ben. He knew he could live simply and work in a humble positions until he could find more fulfilling employment. The other idea that bothered him was that others might think he was a little crazy for taking a step that might look reckless. He knew intellectually that people's opinions of him were not nearly as important as God's opinion, but he had never really tested that theory. The idea that God was leading him got Ben excited by the possibility of courageously walking by faith, teamed together with the conviction that he needed to get away from his hometown. The decision became surprisingly clear. He was ready to settle anywhere that might hold the promise of a stable living, even if it meant enduring a harsher climate than the one he was used to living in. He initially set his sights on a Midwestern state where job opportunities abounded. He felt prepared to endure the harsh winters as long as he could find reasonable livelihood there. In the meantime, Ben's aunt heard that he was determined to leave his hometown, so she invited him to move clearer across the country to live with her and her husband until he could find work. Ben accepted his aunt's generous offer. He packed his 1986 Toyota Celica and headed out. Okay, God, I know where I am going, but I am completely dependent on you to provide a job and friends. Although Ben was prepared to endure the Midwestern weather, God had set his course for the middler climate of South somewhere. He joyfully anticipated those 5 days of driving, deciding to spend the entire time in silence, talking to Jesus as he drove across the country. Looking back, Ben has concluded that this was one of the best decisions he ever made. He still talks fondly of the 5 days of prayer as one of the high points of his spiritual journey. His aunt and uncle welcomed him with open arms, and he found a job shortly after he arrived. Within 2 months, he had an apartment of his own connected with a church. He has led small groups, made great friends, and been consistently employed ever since. More importantly, his faith has grown stronger, and he has found a life of freedom and focus. Getting away from the town that was flooded with painful memories set him free to enjoy God's design for his life. Asking the questions, how do I want to live, was much easier in this new environment. He knows this is not the only way to overcome family pain, but it was God's way for him. This is the Breakpoint here on HiRadio. It's your time to shine. This is your main man B.O.B on the stereo. We appreciate, your wishes and your messages that are coming in. Also joining the live feed is Nana Ifo Amponsa Ampofo. Also joining in the live feed, King Legacy. Also joined in the live feed here on Breakpoint. Dina Pinkran joined too. Thank you very much for joining in today's segment on Breakpoint. You can further join in by sending in your wishes via WhatsApp on +233 2400 34362 +233 302 906 336. We are going for a quick commercial break. We will be right back and we'll be delving in the history of Ghana right here on the Breakpoint. It is the Ghana month. We are in the 3rd month, and today is 2nd March on Breakpoint.
Highly spiritual.
Hey brother, Charlie, what's up?
Charlie, wow, him say Gary.
Hey, Natalie, I come to house today this morning, playing the chop Gary like that.
Say this food there, nothing there. Even sugars have, unless I go down there, I go.
Mommy spray you the chop Gary then, sugar all like that.
We don't know where we go get some like B.O.B by or.
Brother, then the lack. You know year of high mat.
I know so name.
Cool. Supermarket can sell me a red by zero. Hey, top lesson here. Hey, name found call na kosho de akoso. Charlie, as more na US no. Mo ton car bills, mo pa money, then sardine. Body na so ko o de sardine akoda. Be shake yen kosho mat. Charlie, supermarket no jai. Hey, it's too much. Charlie.
Why say you no go let me make a chop my Gary like that?
Brother, I
make a walk and go.
Brother,
far from here.
No. Just a distance. 5 minutes in process here. I am comba. Charlie, I'm coming.
Charlie, fast.
Yes, this is Breakpoint. You are right here with us, and we are delving into the history of Ghana. Remember this. Let's do this. When you hear this, you are proudly Ghanaian. Jean Arai Assassini means this is our own land, our country. The blood our forefathers toiled for us. Catherine Doe Afro just joining the feed. I believe you are watching. You're enjoying the feed. Yes, we are in the Ghana month. We are celebrating Ghana right here on Breakpoint. Okay, let's just do this if you remember this.
This is HiRadio, 5 million Ghanaians will go gay. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip will be here that special day. We'll drink and dance the whole day and put on kente fine. On that Thursday, 12 November 1959. May God bless this fantasy.
Do you remember this, right? Queen Elizabeth visited Ghana for the first time. Yes.
Seven long years we waited since coronation to Canada, and then Nigeria she brought jubilation. Now here are drummers thumping on the mighty phantom from. The Queen has come at last to Ghana from United Kingdom. May God bless this fine Thursday when all Ghana will go gay. With Elizabeth we love you, Akwaba Wawa too.
This is Memory Lane. I believe you're enjoying this. It brings memory, right? Yes, indeed.
The people are
memories
rejoicing from Maxine to Bolgatanga, from a leader Dr. Kruma to the lowest in the land. We all join the song of love. We know you'll understand. May God bless this fine Thursday when all Ghana will go gay. Grace Elizabeth, we love you. Akwaba Wawa too. This is the day 5 million Ghanaians will go gay. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip will be here that special day. We drink and dance the whole day and put on kente fine. On that Thursday, 12 November 1959. May God bless this fine Thursday when all Ghana will go gay. With Elizabeth we love you, Akwaba Wawa too. This is the day 5 million Ghanaians will go gay. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip will be here that special day. We'll drink and dance the whole day and put on kente fine.
Yes, this is going on live right here inside HiRadio studio on the Breakpoint.
God bless this fine Thursday.
We are marking Ghana. It's the Ghana month, and here on HiRadio we are celebrating Ghana right here on the segment of history. We are going back memory lane, how Ghana came into being right from Gold Coast. Yes, yes, yes. It's going down right here on Breakpoint. Indeed, I'm sure someone is smiling. Right, yeah. I can see that.
The Queen has come at last.
You feeling this, right?
United Kingdom.
It brings so many memories. Ghana is indeed gone far.
Elizabeth, we love you. Akwaba Wawa too.
Ghana will mark its 61st Independence Day anniversary and celebration come 6th March, which is Tuesday. And here on Breakpoint and HiRadio, We are celebrating Ghana, man. Take a picture of yourself in any African fabric. That is why I'm right here and I'm repping Ghana. I did Ghana this morning. Wache, Aisha Wache, and a touch of egg. Spicing it up with my shit and cuddling it with my willy. Yes, we are celebrating Ghana. Enjoy your jollof, your pimampesi, the fufu. Yes, yes, it is Ghana, and we are celebrating Ghana on Breakpoint. Share us today. 5 million. Like us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Follow us, dropping your comments. I'll be reading all your messages right here. Happy birthday going out to man like Tilim, T-Bars, man like Harrison Lee Soa. When Ghana will go gay, when Elizabeth without you, Ababa 112. Oh yes, yes. I hear man like Tilens, you just won one of the promotion ongoing with one of the telecommunication. Airtel Tigo. Yes, yes. You are really enjoying. I'll be coming in for my class. Okay, let's do this. A little bit we want to talk about Ghana, how it came. Yes. The Gold Coast, the 5th and the 19th century. A little is known of a small. A little known of the small African kingdoms in the region between the Tano and the Volta rivers until the arrival of the Europeans in the 5th century. Portuguese navigators working their way down the West African coast reached this area in 1471 and built a fortress at Elmina in 1482. But others followed fast. As early as 1492, the French came in off the coast, deprives a Portuguese ship of its precious cargo. That cargo is gold, and the Gold Coast becomes a European name for this part of Africa. The trade in gold with the Europeans makes possible the development in the early 7th century of Akwemu, the first African state to control an extensive part of the coast. During the 18th century, the dominance of the Akwemu is replaced by that of a much more powerful group, the Ashantis, with their capital inland at Kumasi. By this time, the British, the Dutch, and the Danes are the main European trades on this part of the coast, and the most valuable commodity for export is not gold but slaves. We are not reminding you of the past, but we are delving into the history of Ghana and how it came into it. Trading slaves for muskets among other Western commodities, the Ashantis acquired great local power. Their king, the Asantehene, enthroned on a traditional golden stool, holds over the entire central region of modern Ghana. But the Ashantis suffer a series of major blows between 1804 and 1814, when the Danes and the British and the Dutch each in turn outlawed the slave trade. The resulting tension leads to a warfare in 1920s with the defeat of a British force in 1924 and again in the 1970s. In the 1974, a British army briefly occupied Kumasi. Meanwhile, in the coastal region, the British are gradually emerging as the main Europeans. As the main European power. The Danish fortress, including the impressive Christiansborg Castle in Accra, and the merchants abandoned the coast in 1870. And in 1874, the southern regions and formally proclaimed a British colony under the name Gold Coast. But it takes another 3 decades before the Ashanti Kingdom and its dependency in the north and are finally brought under the British control. I beg your pardon. The colonial period between 1902 and 1957. In 1901, taking effect from 1st January 1902, Ashanti is declared a British Crown colony. The region further north became at the same time the protectorate of the Northern Territories of the Gold Coast. The colonial years are relatively prosperous and untroubled. At first, little is done to involve the African population in the political processes of the colony, but in the years immediately after the World War II, events moved so fast that the Gold Coast becomes the first colony of sub-Saharan Africa to win its independence. The turning point is the return home in 1947 of Kwame Nkrumah after 12 years of steady and radical politics in the US and Britain. Nkrumah is invited back to the Gold Coast to become General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention, an organization campaigning for self-government. The UGCC has won the right in 1947 for an African majority in the colony legislative assembly, but the fight is now on for a shared executive power. Nkrumah rapidly extends the movement's popular base, with the result that there are widespread riots in February in 1949. The older UGCC leaders are alarmed by this and by their brief arrest with Nkrumah. A split within the movement leads to Nkrumah founding in June 1949 the Convention People's Party, committed to immediate self-government. From January 1950, Nkrumah organizes a campaign of non-violent protest and strikes, which lands him back in goal. But in the colony's first general election in February 1951, the CPP wins convincingly, even in the absence of its leader. Nkrumah is released from prison to join the government. In 1952, he becomes Prime Minister. During the years of preparation for independence, the neighboring British Togo votes in 1956 to merge with the Gold Coast. It is therefore a slightly extended territory which becomes independent in 1957 under Nkrumah's leadership. A new name of great resounds in African's history is adopted. Ghana, although the ancient kingdom of that name was far to the north in present-day Mali. Nkrumah, well aware of his status at the head of the first West African nation to emerge from colonialism, dreams of leading the continent into Marxist future. This requires a republic, which Ghana becomes in 1960 with Nkrumah as president for life. It also needs only one political party, the CPP. However, Nkrumah's authoritarian rule, combined with a collapse in the nation's economy, prompts a coup when the president is away in China in 1966. So he goes into exile in Guinea. It is the first several such coups in Ghana's short history, but the nation remains true to the hope of democracy. In 4 decades, Ghana establishes as a new republic. A general election launching the Second Republic in 1969 brings to power Kofi Buzia, a university professor with a long track record in Ghanaian politics as an opponent of Nkrumah, but he is unable to improve Ghana's economic performance, weakened by low cocoa prices, and he is removed by military officers in 1972. For a few years from 1972, a military regime rules with repressive brutality under the successive leadership of 2 generals, Ignatius Acheampong and Frederick Akufo. But by Rawlins, a flight lieutenant in the Air Force, they take power. Acheampong and Akufo were executed. Arrangements are put in place for speedy elections. The Third Republic in 1979 lasts only 2 years before Rawlins and his fellow officers intervened again. After his second coup, Rawlins takes personal power, ruling through a provisional National Defense Council, which has the specific brief to organize the renewal of national political and economic life down to village level. Rawlins proves an efficient leader, winning the international support for his economic policies, and the 1990s demonstrated that he was popular, approved as well. In the prevailing fashion for multi-party democracy, Ghana holds election in 1992 in preparation for its 4th republic. Rawlins transformed his ruling council into political party, the National Democratic Congress. The NDC wins nearly all the seats in parliament, and Rawlins is elected president, but only 29% of the electorate votes, and most of the opposition parties boycotted the election. The 1992 results can hardly be taken as a popular mandate. However, elections in 1996 at the end of the 4th-year term are altogether more significant. There are other presidential candidates, at least one of them enjoying wide support, yet Rawlins astonished observers by winning 57 of the votes to his newest rival 40%, and the NDC retained its absolute majority in parliament. After 2 terms as an elected president, Rawlins stands down by the presidential election of the December 20. It is won by opposition leader John Adjekum Kufuor. Then he was overthrown in election and was succeeded by the then NDC National Democratic Congress by the late President Professor John Evans Atta Mills. Right after then came President John Atta Mills. I beg your pardon, President Mahama. Then now President His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, that is the brief history of Ghana we bring to you today on Breakpoint.
This is Rachel from Vinesong, and you're listening to HiRadio.
This is the day 5 billion Ghanaians will go gay. Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip will be here that special day. We'll drink and dance the whole day and put on Kente Fine on that Thursday, 12th November 1959. May God bless this fine Thursday when all Ghana will go gay. With Elizabeth, we love you. Akwaba, wa, wa, two.
This is Breakpoint here on HiRadio. It's your time to shine. This show was proudly brought to you by HiMat Company Limited.
Canada and then Nigeria.
HiMat, your one-stop shopping center.
Now here are drummers.
Ably supported by HiMat Pharmacy,
from
your wholesale and retail pharmacy.
To Ghana from United Kingdom. May God bless this fine Thursday when all Ghana will go gay. With Elizabeth, we love you. Akwaba, wa, wa, two. With one accord, we wish you welcome to Ghana. The people are rejoicing from Maxim to Bolgatanga, from a leader Dr. Nkrumah to the lowest in the land. We all join this song of love, we know you'll understand. May God bless this fine Thursday when all Ghana will go gay. With Elizabeth, we love you. Akwaba, wa, wa, two.
This is Breakpoint on HiRadio.
5 million Ghanaians.
We'll be delving into our other segment, Urban Mix. We are bringing you quality music on the urban street, making headways in our street.
On that Thursday, 12th November 1950.
Stick and stay. This is HiRadio and it's Breakpoint.
Ghana will go gay. With Elizabeth, we love you. Akwaba, wa, wa, two.
friend goes soon because of your United States HiRadio anonymity.
HiRadio, you got me shining lights. You got me shining like star in the sky. I love this radio. You got me feeling like I'm in paradise.
Hello, this is your girl Justina, and keep on listening to HiRadio. Stay blessed. And keep on listening to HiRadio. Stay blessed.
I go they go where you want me to go. I go they do what you want me to do. I go they say what you want me to say. You are my best love, best love. I go they go where you want me to go. I go they do what you want me to do. I go they say what you want me to say. You are my love, best love. Anything you want, Lord, I go do for you. You be my best love. love, fast love. Hey, your love to blow my mind, you make me to sing and to scream and shout. My Lord, my God, you do for me the things when nobody go do for me. Hey, all I wanna do is make you smile. Hey, hey, hey. And I love you, Lord, 'cause you first love me. I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. I see you, Lord, 'cause you first saw me, and I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. Hey, love the one thing, ting, 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 ting. Hey, and I love you, Lord, 'cause you first love me. I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. I see you, Lord, 'cause you first saw me, and I love you, Lord, 'cause you first love me. Yeah, your love now one thing, ting, 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 le, le, le.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the best station. Best music.
Do what you want me to do. I couldn't say what you want me to say. You want.
I'm here. Then he meets himself.
I couldn't go where you want me to go.
So really into the urban sector.
You want me to do. I couldn't.
Time check is 12, 21, 12, 31.
Anything you want, Lord, I will do for you. You've been my best.
So we're giving the time zone in the Pacific.
And you brought.
And Ghana GMT is 9:41.
And now, Lord, I wanna live for you. And I love you, Lord, 'cause you first love me. I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. I see you.
So we have Reverend Highness.
And I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. Love
With love wanting to first love. Hey, this lady had a forum too much. So we have B.O.B. and on with Ghana. And this is making. We'll both bought some old timers beat. Now he's the mate. It's A.O.B on the beat, on the mic. Keep you here tonight until 10 p.m.
What you want me to do, I couldn't say what you want me to say. You are my first love, first love.
So tomorrow we have Talent Vibes with man like Yalsiki Brayal. He promises to be impactful, inspirational. You don't want to miss out. Last week he had Akosia Boy, Minister Akosia Boy passing through, and more to come very soon. You don't want to miss out. It's only Breakpoint, it's HiRadio, and we do all.
You go do for me, yeah. All I wanna do is make you smile. Hey, hey, hey. And I love you, Lord, 'cause you first love me. I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. I see you, Lord, 'cause you first saw me, and I know you, Lord, 'cause you first knew me. Love the one thing, ting, 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 ting. Hey, and I love you, Lord.
So I give a big shout out to the crowd on call, to all the Heimat family, to all the High Pharmacy family, our proud sponsors. Big ups to you all listening to us and watching us on all social media platforms. You are our first love, and Jesus is all.
Do what you want me to do. I couldn't say what you want me to say. You are my first love, best love. I couldn't go where you want me to go. I couldn't do what you want me to do.
I don't want to soon committing can sing. Yan can the pain, Mr. to the bend to the bot changing. If you do, if you are the boot, as I see the boot changing. Yo, so where you went in a war bar, I said I was in another. We couldn't walk a channel and I would do pan. I said I'm a Sakawasika and I would chile. I said I was in another. So for what you doing as engineer name? I said I'm a Oba, 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 Eli, Oba, Oba,
Osine Eli, Samantha Lee.
Sama bisa one and one. When females, you may have any canana. One Casafis and away Adam Nana. I bet her body and a body and baby, she was better than the baby.
Eli. That's what I saw.
Information, the one in send me the hammer was a cook. Charlie, what did you say? Such a meaning and other than a new cook. I minya me uja ho me mo bananka awu moja ne bigu me so na me sesa amtofo me ma mo ko jamena na so pe me yesu so yi wani na wo ba ko achara wa gene na yesu ba obi kuno wako chena e na wo bu pa achara na yesu saka wasika na wo chele achara wa gene na yesu ba so ko waji eduru na sanjire ne achara na yesu ba oba yesu ba oba yesu oba eli oba la maksabani yesu ba oba eli la maksabani yesu John Besson is a dad, Jack, one mama tadia, Yadim Kufi, as one mama, my dear, who me la pass me, says, and so we, when he said I yes, I go to oh, I make me who will pass mamma tadia, me a one yama, one yama, many a one farm, one farm, many a one come, one come, mammy, what come on, what is a one fine to me, if you are not a bit in it, me boom, when ye, if you see a fair, any evident, you must have mamma walk on, so I feel me, yellow bar, maybe, so you in a war bar. I said I was in an analysis, we can walk a chin and a woo pan. I said an analysis, Saka was sick and a war chile. I said I was in an analysis, so what do you do in a century?
Mixing the station with the best music. Mixing the
So still, Your Highness, she says prepaid. He did film me pass. So all night happening at the North Canadian Assemblies of God Church right now. So if you the house, oh fear, you Gemino, one corner in Christ, I mean no.
Best music 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
I go do for you anything you want. I go do for you. I am a fool for you. The song where I sing, I just sing to you. Baba, I love you.
Hello, this is your girl Justina, and keep on listening to HiRadio.
I bring a lot to the king so he can use it.
I got fire in my bones tonight. Bling bling, my phone the ring. Testimony come, I just they sing. Bling bling, my phone the ring. Testimony come, oh I did. Oh yeah, come, make me dance so. keep rocking, Papa, you too much, oh. You too much, oh. Bale, come on, yeah, no, yeah, me there. No, yeah, no, yeah, me fair. Papa, yeah, all the better in the best things. Papa, you give me the big things. 1 + 1 = 2, but me and you equals to you. All the better in the best things. Papa, you give me the big things. 1 + 1 = 2, but me and you equals to you. Oh, you are there. You there for me, oh. Oh, yeah, come, make we dance, oh. Oh, you are there. You there for me, oh. Oh, yeah, come, make we dance, oh. You there for me.
Yes, music.
I go do for you, anything you want, I go do for you. I am a fool for you, the song where I sing, I just sing to you. Never I love you, so bad love you. And why I'm me, so the thing you want, I go give to you. And I could do mercy in my life tonight. I got fire in my bones tonight. Bling, bling, my phone the ring, that's the money come. I just sing, bling, bling, my phone the ring, that's the money come. Oh, I did.
Hello, this is your girl Justina, and keep on listening to HiRadio. Stay blessed.
Yo, this is your boy Panko Daddy. When I'm in Ghana, listen to HiRadio.
Hi, my name is Altia. I come from Jamaica. When I want to listen to good music, let us tune in to HiRadio. HiRadio, it's your time to shine. Boo!
I give my life to the King so he can use me. I don't care what the people say, he can always lead me. Yo, this is your guy Mike Ambles. Keep listening to HiRadio if you wanna move high. You get motivated with the right word and with the right songs.
You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Hey brother, with the gospel, do what the West is. Cause I want to be the defender like now. Praise his name and let that church say. Hey, come praise him. Come love him, come bless him down. I go walking now with the classmate cause they're feeling the crying. Praise God. Brethren, praise God.
And small time, you have a poem.
They never let you.
So sad.
In your tears, we gon' make you smile. Oh, you gon' smile again. More praise to Jehovah. More praise to Jehovah. More praise to Jehovah. More praise to Jehovah.
Cha-cha.
Praise to Jehovah. More praise to Jehovah. Long life. More praise to Jehovah. More praise to Jehovah. Life. Yeah. Mein Gott, The way you bless me, I can never imagine. So relax, my haters, you won't kill person. You know fit, God is good, He's the highest. No matter who you are, just praise Him. He's my strength, my provider. I will give you praise, Jehovah. Say, I will dance for my Lord, the King of Kings on top. He do for me, do for you, He be God. So all them praise to Baba God. Say, I will dance for my Lord, the King of Kings on top. He do for me, do for you, He be God. So all them praise to Baba God. Say, I bow body to it, brother, I bow body to it. Wherever, and then I walk and pray. My brother watch and pray. Wherever I go, dance so. My brother dance so. Praise God, brethren, praise God. He never let you down. In your tears, He gon' make you smile. Oh, He gon' smile again. More praise to Jehovah. 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 Why did you be turning again? I'm turning, I am not the same. The blessing is coming my way. Now you can see I am flying away. More praise to Jehovah. You guys know me, I'm taking Anybody ever wanna praise the Lord? Anybody ever wanna praise the Lord? Anybody ever wanna sing for Yahweh? Anybody ever wanna sing for Yahweh? Anybody ever wanna clap for Jesus? Anybody ever wanna clap for Jesus? Come on and lift your hands, say in the air, praise His holy name. With the hearts full of praise, we lift Him high. I want dance, I wanna dance like David to dance. I want praise, I wanna praise like David to praise. I want dance, I wanna dance like David to dance. I want color, I want color like David to color. I will rise and praise my Lord. I will rise and give Him praise. I will rise and praise my Lord. I will rise and give Him praise. I will arise, I will arise, I will arise, I will arise and praise. I will arise, I will arise, I will arise, I will arise and praise. I will arise, I will arise, I will arise, I will arise and praise. I will arise, I will arise, I will arise and praise.
Best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Select you, baby. Boom, boom. Ah, na, na, na. You want catch it. You want catch it. Man, I'm coming to so you want catch it. Oh, baby, me want catch it. Baba God is still, you're the reason why we still live long. So you want catch it. Oh, baby, me want catch it. Yeah, I know about so sad, but I want to know if you're seen and then I know about so sad, but I want to know if you're seen. I'm
Hello, this is your girl Justina, and keep on listening to HiRadio. Stay
Hello, my people, you are welcome to the program. Maybe I'm a tell by there was traffic in the whole town. More cars, so there's pressure on the road, but in all time, God, we made it here. Let's get a show done. And then you have to trim kakra. And you share your generation, and you be a kakra. Tiabo some ness and your money, they check me a trap. So, but Jimmy Breno was a no yen kafra. Let's take a thought into the reason why there's more evil. I mean, the evil of the people going multiple. Even the children of today getting more ego. And so the sanity for people seem impossible. For me, I blame it on religion. Religion do anything. The purpose of the teaching is for money, not the message. Nobody wants to listen to the word. Congregation just the word for the suffer and come, not the message. You speak against the act and they see you as satanic. Satan Timu come on, my engine. Also, I mean, so me, Mada come, my father, and go sit down next year. After a bona than a chronology for 40 country, we hear anything in corner for your opinion. Worship a pastor like an idol.
Didn't know what to do with our lives, but now he found us and transformed us. They now call us
Superstar
Rappers for Jesus.
Yeah. If I know that nothing safe, I got Jesus. Yeah. If I know that nothing safe, I got Jesus, Joe. I came from a city where all we knew was humanizing and drugs. I nearly became a gay. It took me a couple of bucks. Going to church was an option. I show up at 10, 11, I bounce. I was just living my life by heart. Me while I was in America. I was a road gangster. I go for a papa sang a pastor.
Yeah, boy. You know what I mean? Gotta let them know though, innit? Let's go! I ain't trying to be Michael Jackson. Crush my identity and end up in anguish. No, I ain't trying to be Usain Bolt to be the freshest man upon the planet. Nah, I'm just trying to lift up my hands as a sign of total surrender. To the reason why we living in when we all have our being here, the reason of the season. Yes, intoxicated.
Just want to talk to you for a minute. Can I do that? Oh, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, man. Hello. How you doing? How you doing? Hello. Oh, how you doing? How you doing? Hello. Oh, how your people's been doing? Hello. Yeah, yeah. Let's go to the left with it. Not to the left with it. Not to the right. Not to the left with it. Not to the right. Not to the left with it. Not to the right. Let's go. Anything you want me to, yeah, I do. But if it ain't of the Lord, then I won't do it. It's cause the Spirit led, so I still show you love. When he tell me
Bless him, bless him, bless him.
He's African hip hop.
Bless him, bless him. Bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him.
You've been at the base just for too long. It's time to move on to where you really belong. Forget it all, neglect the fault. You were caught among all. No turning back, no going back, no giving up. We going up, no slanging. We riding, we rolling, we rocking. It looks so easy, getting dizzy, can't see clearly. Holy Ghost say it's getting easy. Lord have mercy, that's my energy. Gain that sentence, he paid the penalty. That's my therapy. Yeah. I face these challenges and I win. I have touched the fringes of the devil flinch at Mother City. Big up to Kosiosi. Yes, I win.
I could play the background. I could play the background. Cause I know sometimes I get in the way. So won't you take the lead, lead. So won't you take the lead, lead. And I can play the background.
ne bebu ateyo mani hunu ma pao yanyo ni po yanyo ni pa ne bebu atenti sisan suban ani yanya me suma ya sumo ya mana ye ni pani mu dia keke ya pese ni pani na unse ya dia sum ya me no am sumini ye yanya ni pa ne bebu ateyo konya me ne bebu ateyo mani hunu ma pa awo minia Mia ya sad sine ningwasie se ni pani hwe ni mo somfa yeti ma mi suban what is that sa emwo she mi ma ko ma mi na o pani nya me sumuni akoro
Running